Disney is pushing back the release of its Snow White live-action movie until 2025, a move that conservatives attribute to the movie's giant attempts to be woke. Conservative critics pointed out Disney's rendition initially cast diverse men and women instead of dwarves to play the entourage of Snow White, but since scrapped that idea in favor of CGI dwarves. Now, the studio says Disney's Snow White has been delayed a whole year because of the SAG-AFTRA strike, which forced studios to reshuffle their release schedules.
Meanwhile, a clip of side-by-side actresses, Rachel Ziegler, who was cast to play the princess in Disney's remake, and Brett Cooper, who will play the same role in the Daily Wire's version, has gone viral. Take a look. First, here's Ziegler.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
So then we have Brett Cooper of the Daily Wire.
By 2030, it's predicted that 45% of women will be unmarried and childless. And why do you think that is? Well, it's because we've been told that, men are trash and that our career is the only thing that matters and that marriage and children will inhibit that, which is unnatural. That is biologically unnatural for women.
You get your choice.
You
get your choice, Jessica. There's left-wing Snow White and right-wing Snow White. So, isn't choice a beautiful thing?
Yes, so beautiful. The two Snow Whites. I think it's funny that this is all about whether or not Snow White is woke. And isn't it the whole premise of the story that she's in an eternal sleep unless she's kissed by the prince? I think Brett Cooper's point is not well taken because it was illegal for women to get a credit card unless they were married until 1974. I would suggest that maybe it's not that people are saying men are trash and that's why women aren't getting married. I think maybe marriage rates were a little bit higher before that law was passed, among other laws that made it legal for men to hit their wives, that after these laws were passed, women were less likely to have children and get married simply because they had free agency in our society. Maybe they just wanted a credit card, not a husband. I don't think it's because there's negative sentiments towards men and that's why women aren't getting married. I think women have freedom of choice now in a way that they didn't before.
Women with credit cards. What's next, Jessica? Is there no end to this feminazi agenda? That's what I'm asking. Kidding, of course, for anyone unclear about that. Without co-signing what Brett said there, but the point is that yes, the story is a traditional story because we made it a different time, and if you don't like that, you can just make your own story. You can just make a different story. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think what irritates audiences is the idea that some tale that has slightly different values or norms when it was created we must keep that tale because we're going to cynically use it to make money, but we have to change every aspect of it but like the character's name in order to fit modern progressive sensibilities. Just create your own story. Like you can leave intact an older story that has older values and make that. You don't even have to remake it. Just make a new one. It feels like there's a lack of imagination with some of these things, but on the part of creating something new. But then they must include all the modern values, or it's like offensive for some reason.
Yeah, I think that we have the original stories for a lot of these fairy tales that turn out to be much different from Disney's first interpretation in the cartoon version of the movie. Snow White's cartoon version is still there that Disney first produced. You can also go and read the original Snow White fairy tales. But I think it's absurd that viewers think they have any responsibility to dictate what they would like to see on screen, that they have any sway over the Disney executives. Disney's going to make what Disney's going to make because Disney has the rights to make movies about Snow White, and they can do whatever they want. If they want to do a woke version of Snow White, go ahead. And if you don't like it and you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I just don't think it's as big of a deal as people make it. But I think
anybody can make a Snow White movie because they don't have the rights. The rights they used to have them. They've expired because now that's why the Daily Wire is able to do this. But you're right to point out that the Disney versions are different than the original fairy tales. For instance, in the original Snow White tale, they capture the evil queen, and they force her to wear like they put shoes under red hot pokers, and they make her wear these red hot shoes to torture her. And woke Disney didn't include this in their telling. So I wonder if the conservative version will bring back this resolution to the plot.
Yes, teach the children about the curses that can be broken with true love's kiss, and about torture in retaliation for crimes committed against beloved human beings. Yes, and of course, the changing of the dwarves has been a huge controversy as well. And now no one knows what the movie's going to be like when Disney comes out with it, because Rachel Ziegler has done all of this press, and now people are saying Gal Gadot should take over, that Disney's delayed production, because there's rumors that they're firing Ziegler. There's all of this press about the movie, which leads me to believe, are there marketing geniuses at Disney that have created this controversy on purpose so that more people will watch the film when we all like the original? We don't need a live action version because sometimes they're creepy. Especially when they try and make like human versions of all of the creatures that end up helping out Snow White. And you have all of these humans doing the green screen stuff with people that aren't really there. It just comes out weird. It's a little off-putting. It's a little uncanny valley. The cartoon version's fine. And now they've created the necessary hype for the new version, so we watch it just to see what happens.
There's a new episode or a special of South Park that attacks South Park's criticisms of Disney have been very funny historically, but specifically goes after Kathleen Kennedy, who's the head of the Star Wars, which is under the Disney empire as well. And there's a lot of frustration with fans and even of general audiences for the trajectory a lot of Star Wars has taken, the new trilogy series being kind of widely despised, I think, and people blaming her. So South Park has a pretty hilarious, it was going viral on social media. There's no way we can actually play it because it uses a lot of words we don't like to say on this show, but it was really funny, especially in the Cartman voice. I encourage people to check that out, and then don't listen to it on the loudspeaker at work, but it was a funny criticism of the direction that Disney has taken, just kind of cynically repurposing things without any creative thought, and then also insulting and mocking the audiences for these projects by thinking the answer to everything is more, to use the Daily Wire's parlance, more wokeness, more whatever you want to call it. But anyway, a Snow White.
Make something original.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A Snow White for everyone. Maybe we need a libertarian Snow White. I'm not sure what that would involve. Maybe the dwarves throw out Snow White and say, sorry, this is our house. You cannot transgress across our property. Young lady, go to your own forest with squirrels singing. I don't know. I haven't thought it through, obviously, but I'll get to work on that script.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. I would like the dwarves to overthrow Snow White and create a workers' cooperative instead for all of their mining. They keep the profits for all of the jewels that they mine. And the queen, the evil queen, is also played by Ron DeSantis. And they discuss a little bit of the back and forth between Disney and him in the film as well. That would really enrich the dialogue.
Your version sounds better, but I'm keeping Gal Gadot as my evil queen for sure. We will have more Rising right after this.